So me and Marissa decided we wanted to go to the 17th annual Art on Fire Festival that they have in Wasilla at the Airport Museum. So this is a little bit of our adventure while we were there. I hope you enjoy. And they've done this, it's done on the third Saturday in June. And they've done this for 17 years now. And this will be about the 5th year that I have gone. So our first order of business is to buy some molds so that we can start scratching out some designs and make some tiles for ourselves. Each one of these molds is $10. And so here I am scratching out my first mold. And I actually made templates the day before so that I could get the wording just right, so that, because everything has to be done backwards. As you can see, that it is backwards. And once they put the metal in and it solidifies and hardens, you flip it over, then you can actually read what you want it to say, and everything, all the lettering doesn't come out backwards. So this is my second one, and you can see I'm working off a piece of cardboard right there that is a template where I actually went through, put all the lettering in, and cut it out with a pair of scissors so that everything would be real quick and easy for me. And I have to say I'm really glad I did it, because this is the best year that my lettering has ever turned out. And so I really don't like doing voiceovers on my videos that much. I do it a little bit here and there where I think something was missing, but I really don't like going over the whole video and doing a voiceover. But YouTube, after I uploaded this the first time, they gave me a copyright strike or a warning or whatever. They said there was a copyright on it. So I had to go through and remove all of the sound from the original video, because there was music playing the whole time I was there. And even though I tried to dampen it, I still got that warning. So unfortunately, a voiceover is the only sound you're going to hear on this video. And, you know, it was a lot of fun to go there, but I'll know next year not to even worry about videoing, because if I have to remove all of the sound, it just detracts so much from the video. So here they are doing their first pour, and you can see the metal splashing out around a little bit. And so it's really hard to get it on video, especially this year. It seemed like I didn't do as good a job getting in the right positions where somebody isn't blocking a lot of the view, and I'm sorry about that, but I did the best I could to try to get you views of the metal getting poured. And as you can see, the video just isn't the same without the background noise or the normal noise that would go along with it. But I'm really sorry about that they were playing music the whole time. So you have to remember that this metal is right around 3,000 degrees, and they're holding the shovels up like that to keep it from splashing towards the people in the crowd. And so now they're just loading up new tiles. The first tiles that they poured have hardened. They were able to get them out of the way and get new tiles set up. They're doing it on that I-beam so that they're level and so that they pour evenly. This is a new addition that they've done. They didn't have this last year, and it turned out way better. But they're just trying to finish off that crucible of metal. And they just have a lot of metal in that crucible to empty out. So, and there again, it just seems like somebody always accidentally stepped in the way. You know, they don't realize that I'm videotaping and stuff, but it's an accident. They don't do it on purpose. It just how it worked out. Isn't that metal cool when it's pouring? I love the color of it. I love watching it pour. And they're getting close to the end of the crucible now. And there it is. That one is empty. And here's some examples of some things that were made in previous years. And there was a lot more going on at the festival than what I'm showing. I just primarily focused on the metal melting because that's what I'm really interested in. So there was some blacksmiths that were there. I did take a little bit of video with that, but it didn't mix well when I was editing this video, so I just kind of left it out. There was a couple pottery places. There was a glass blowing, or glass works. And the video I took there of that stuff, it just didn't really mix well with this video. I'll see if I can make another video of just the other stuff that was going on. And then you just see how tall the flames are coming out of that foundry, and realize how close they're standing to that and how hot it is. I can feel the heat. Standing as far back as I am, I could feel the heat off of it. So just imagine being like that up close and personal with it. And what you're seeing here is the first set of tiles that they poured. They're getting them out. They're dunking them in that water to cool them off so they can get them cleaned up and let people take them home with them. They're adding fresh water to it because that water is already so hot. It's actually boiling, and it's crazy how hot that metal is that they're still sticking in there. And so you can see the smoke rising off of that mold right there. And then as soon as they put the metal in, it starts boiling the water. And I just found that fascinating. Most of the time there's so much steam coming off that you couldn't even see it, but I got a pretty good view right there. Sometimes getting in there and getting just the right picture was a little bit hard because there's a lot of people inside there working and doing what they needed to do to make all of this work together. And so sometimes people will step right in where you're trying to take a picture, and they usually move out of the way pretty fast. So they all seem to be enjoying themselves. I know I enjoyed watching them. And right now you can barely see the flame coming out. But off right there you can see, now that's where they watch to, when the metal starts running out of there, more liquid form, that's when they know that it's time to fill the crucible and pour the metal. And they just, every so often they go up, they check it, they'll add more metal, they'll add more coke to it. And once that metal starts running out, it's not just when it starts running out, but when it gets really runny, almost like liquid form, it's ready to pour, ready to go. And so here we go. They're going to add just a little bit more metal and another little bit of coke on top. Get it all pushed down, close the lid down, let it heat back up. We're getting closer to another pour. So at this point you can see it's starting to drip out just a little bit. That's nowhere near as runny as they go for that. So that's like almost like dripping honey, and they actually go more water form when the metal gets hot enough. So here we go again. More metal getting added, and there's a big distance of time in between them adding this metal. I just edited out a whole lot of video that just because it was already so long. Here we go, getting ready to fill more crucibles so that they can pour the metal. I really enjoy watching this part too, when you see the water, or when you see the metal flow out. Now, I'm not sure how I missed it, but they actually filled both crucibles right there, and I didn't even notice it myself. It just looked like one of the crucibles was getting filled, both getting filled up somehow. And all of that metal goes into this one mold, and it still didn't have quite enough to fill the whole thing all the way up. That was one big mold right there. So here we go. It's all poured, and right there he looks down in, and that's when he said almost, not quite there. And it's kind of funny to see the flames that are coming out of the top of that as well. And so he was telling him to get loaded back up. It's time to get some more metal in there. More tiles set up, ready to go for the next pour. I love seeing that flame coming out of the top. That's really cool. And there you go. So you can see the metal running out. It's getting more liquid form there. You know, that's more of a liquid. That's closer to filling up the crucible again. They're going to add more metal, add more coke, and it wasn't long after that they were ready to fill their crucibles again. So if you look at the metal dripping out of the hole on the right side, shows you just how runny it is before they decide to pour it into the crucible. There we go. Sorry I missed the beginning of that. Yeah, just the way it went. Nothing you can do about it. Sorry I missed that pour. So here we go, almost pouring. Moving to the next mold. Fill it up. And just because there are so many people, I decided to kind of cut that one short and just move into when they started pouring the tiles again. Here we go. So the second tile from the left is one of mine. And they kept the insulation right there on top of the crucibles just to help hold the heat in so that the metal wouldn't stick to the crucible so much. Here we go with another pour. It seemed like every time I wanted to get a picture of the pour, somebody else wanted to get a picture of the pour as well. So and I believe at this point all they had left to do was fill the tiles. And they're pouring at such a height that it's actually splashing a lot more, and it was actually coming back towards us. It was splashing out so much and dancing around. You can see how it dances when it splashes. And got to the point where they were at the end, they still had a lot of metal in their crucible, and they ended up having to hurry to get more tiles set up to be able to pour. Oh, I guess they did have one more mold that they had to fill. Trying to get some of the molds out of the way, and then making room for new molds to get put up there so they can finish pouring. When they realized that maybe they were trying to move them just a little bit too soon, they weren't quite solidified yet. So it's just a lot going on. There we go. Kind of see the ripples, the waves of the molten metal as they're pouring. Get more tiles set up, hurry. They're getting close. There we go. Back to the pot to cool the tiles off. And you really can't see it, but that is just boiling. There you go. You can see it a little bit right there. It's pretty cool. And so they're getting ready for the final pour for the day. This will be the end of it. And so this is the last pour. So they're just going to let everything start draining out. So there it is. This is the last tile. And they still have a lot of metal in the crucible, so they'll just start pouring it on the ground, trying to spread it out so it cools off faster. And they threw a couple of the molds that had already been emptied out and they were still together. They threw some of those molds down and poured them again, just for the fact that they wanted to get rid of the metal. So you kind of see them pouring it out on the ground right here, just trying to get it out of the crucible, because it'll ruin the crucible if it hardens in there, right? So these are just some of the molds that were already poured before. After they got the crucible emptied out, now it's time to empty out the foundry. There goes the bottom. A little bit of a pry. And that's all molten metal that just fell out. Just, you don't want it to solidify inside the foundry. So. Add just a little bit of water, and that's about all they wrote. So here's our tiles. It's time to get them home, take a wire wheel to them, and get them cleaned up. See what they look like. So on the way out, I just thought I'd give you one last look at some of the trucks and equipment from the Transportation Museum. So there's a whole lot more at the Transportation Museum than just this. There's a lot of helicopters and airplanes and stuff. It's pretty cool. But this was just on the way out, so I thought I'd give you a view of it. Okay, so I got them cleaned up. And there's the first one that I made. There's my little smiley face sunshine. And Not So Remote Alaska. This will be the second Not So Remote Alaska, but I actually got it right this time. Last time I messed up and it was kind of backwards a little bit. And then this is Marissa's. So you can see who the real artist is. And that is a fish from the top view. And she did a really good job of getting the fin and stuff on there. That's a really cool one. I like that one. So there they are. Those are the tiles that we made this year, all cleaned up. And hopefully I will be able to start making something similar to this with brass, with my own little foundry that I have. So that's gonna just about do it. I just want to say thank you for watching this edition of Not So Remote Alaska, and until next time, may God bless and keep each and every one of you. And with that, I am out.